Hi, my name is Brandon Tho Harris. I am a visual artist based in Houston, Texas. A lot of my work is learning the experiences of my own family's migration from Vietnam after the Vietnam War, and also processing intergenerational trauma and really opening up dialogue between me and my family. Um, it's still something I'm working through as an adult, and it's an ongoing process. And in my hopes, I plan to share the complexities of being an immigrant, being a refugee, and the experiences of migration itself. Here I am with my grandma, Yin Tran, and then my mom, Nya Harris. Today we're doing a performance in collaboration with my family called Nook, which stands for Water and Homeland in Vietnamese. So the title, it says Water, Homeland, and Nook, which is the word in Vietnamese. And today we're pulling a wooden boat made from woods from an old Vietnamese shrimper and fisherman boat, and woods found from the sites of mass Vietnamese migration along the Houston and Gulf Coast. I also filled the boat with soil collected from there, the land, which carries this energy, this history with it, along with clothes from me and my family, luggages, and objects found within these sites and these places. In the boat, I put all these things in the boat to reference kind of recollecting and reclaiming those lost items, lost at sea or lost at war when my family migrated. When they were leaving Vietnam on the boat, they had to throw all their clothes and their valuables off the boat so they can fit more refugees on. So those experiences, as well as when my family were escaping the war, they buried all their photographs and documents in the soil of their home to erase their identity if they were to be caught. And these acts of erasure is kind of something I'm trying to reclaim throughout my work. So for this performance, I'm pulling the boat, kind of symbolizing the burden of being a child of war refugees and all that trauma that is passed down. And we're doing it very ceremonial, almost like a procession, kind of almost like a funerary march to come to terms with this history and this knowledge, as well as give honor to the people who lost their lives during the war, and to give props where it's due, and to the journey that my family has gone through. Did y'all want to say anything about your experiences? Grandma?
Experience about the journey over here.
Grandma, how did you get here? How did you get to America?
Oh, how I get to America? The first of all, April 30, the last day, we lost the government in Vietnam. My husband with army, he decided to take our family out of the country. And we got in the Navy boat, we throw everything, we left, then we got into American ship. When American ship, they pick us up, they said throw everything out. That's saving life. That's the last time for emergency. So we have decided to leave everything. We have 4 kids and my husband to go. And we only have one suit. Long story but short. We don't have no clothes, only one bag and shoulder with the birthday certificate, paperwork, you know. Then we get in the boat. 9 days we don't have no food. Helicopter in Philippines had to wrap the food down for us. A lot of old people die thrown in the ocean. My only daughter right now, right here, she have to survive for other 3 kids of mine. She's 11 years. She got a lie every hour. to get a little water with our milk to feed other brother, sister, to be survive. My baby, 24 months. Now she 47 years old. That's what we are like. When we come here in Guam, we don't have even shoe, clothes, and water. We have to stand in the raining water to wash our clothes and body to get them dry up again to live in. Then we get out in American, we have nobody, no people, but for kids. And we try to work hard to raise our kids right, to live in freedom country, whatever you want to do, then we survive until today.
Did you miss anything that you had to leave behind, or did you just kind of let it go and not think about it? Do you miss those
I
things?
was homesick. I was homesick. I tried to sign up to leave my 2 young kids and take her and the next second one back home. But my husband and I decide he asked me, he said he not live underneath of communist. So he decided to go and I fight with him. He only had one shirt. I tore his shirt broke. I got my ID, he hid it. So end up I cannot leave my other 2 kids young, so I have to stay. And took right until 17 years later, I found my daddy, my family back home. My daddy thinking I died from a boat. So I contact from some friend in Canada, and they helped me to send a letter over Vietnam to find him. So that's how we contact. 1991, I take her to go back to Vietnam.
What was that like for you to go back to Vietnam after not being there since you were a child?
It was very, I guess, hard, to see the country again, after leaving for so long. And it was really nice to see all the relatives again. We went back and visited the home that we left. Try to remember, all the memories that growing up there, and because when we left, we kind of buried everything we owned on the ground. Try to find it, but it's not successful. But because my dad was a military, in the high-ranking military, and we had to bury all photos, everything, so that we wouldn't be caught and recognized. So the only photos of us is what's in his wallet. So we don't have a lot of pictures of us growing up. We only have a couple photos. Yeah. So, but it was really nice to come back to the country, where I grew up for 11 years. And
did you feel different, like when you came back, that maybe it wasn't your home anymore?
Yeah.
Or that
Yeah.
you weren't
Sad.
the same?
yeah, it's different because you grew up in America and you're used to all the thing that's AC and toilet and stuff. So it's really it's really difficult. I don't think I could survive there if I have to live there again. Because it was constantly hot. Constantly have to go hit the shower several times a day. No AC, no ice. No refrigerator, no toilet. So we were living with our relatives. So basically we lived the way they lived.
They don't understand,
Yeah,
but
so
I understand.
it was tough.
Was there anything that you liked in Vietnam that you didn't get here in America when you were there, that you were like, oh wow, I can only get this here, or this is like special about this place as opposed to home?
I think it's the way they live over there, They're just very relaxed. You get up in the morning, you see people along the cafe just sitting and eating and drinking, and there's no like rush go to work, rush go through traffic. It's really a different way of life that I think that we need to have over here. It's a little bit less stressful. I think I like that. That's what I like.
Having your son do this project and connect, bring his art and connect that with, his motherland, with Vietnam, with everything that you guys, had to leave behind. To see your son as an adult go back and reach into, you know, his history and reach into what you guys left? What's that like? Were you surprised that he wanted to know more about, you know, his about Vietnam? Were you surprised that he was digging back?
Yes, I think so. But I was very proud that he wants to know where he came from, you know, and his homeland and his family, and how his parents and grandparents got here, you know, because we left right on the day when the war ended, and we went through, you know, a lot of trials just to get to the boat, you know. And then, you know, we thought that when we got to the naval ship that they wanted to us to make a decision, either throw everything we own and stay on the boat, or if we want to keep our stuff, we have to get off the boat, you know. And because they said they needed room for the military, because the militaries had to get out because the war was over. And, you know, and either everybody on that ship has to make a decision to throw everything and stay, or keep it and get off. And I guess everybody in our boat decided that we wanted to, you know, to come to America. Even though we don't speak a word of English, we don't have anything other than the clothes on our back, you know, we took a risk. And I think we made the right choice. So, you know, but my uncles and my aunt, they were on another boat, and most of the people there decided that they didn't want to take that risk. And so now they're still over there. We're the only family here. Yeah, but I think I'm very proud that he's trying to learn.
Do you feel, Brandon, being a Vietnamese American, that what your parents and your grandparents had to do in leaving everything that they had, and essentially a lot of who they were behind, do you feel that you have to go through that experience as an American in a different way, that you're kind of asked to Americanize or do certain things? Do you feel like you've been asked in a different way to leave your Vietnamese side behind?
Was that a question for Brandon?
Oh, Brandon, yeah. Do you feel like do you ever feel like you've had to leave things behind so you could fit and come be an American?
Yeah, I think it's like what is it, nature versus nurture. I think growing up in like a mostly white suburban neighborhood and not really like living near Chinatown, and obviously as a kid you want to fit in and like you want to have friends. So I think there was a lot of assimilation back then. I remember like I was begging my mom for Lunchables as a kid because all my friends had Lunchables when like she would pack me like traditional Vietnamese food, and I was just very ungrateful. And now here I am eating charcuterie boards that I can't afford. But I think I feel like growing up in America informs being Vietnamese as much as being Vietnamese in America informs being American, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I feel like they enforce each other or like help me see it more clearly. As an adult, I feel like I'm trying to navigate this space because I feel also like I'm not Vietnamese enough to like live in Vietnam, but I'm also like not American enough to be, I don't know, American.
I get that so much, Brandon.
It's like this
really
weird space.
I think all of us here understand that. Yeah. And it's a weird burden that we have because in our generation, like you know, your grandmother, she just had to survive. She just had to get you here. Your mom had to assimilate. She had to establish, you know, the life here as a first generation immigrant, and you have to do both. You have to be an American, but you also have to remember what it was and honor those things. Does having your mother and your grandmother in your life help you connect more to your homeland?
Yes, and I feel like I need to collect this information and this history now, before they pass on in the future. And it will just be gone, because I only know as much as they tell me of the story. Without them, I wouldn't know, and I would be even more lost. And I think it's interesting because I am like so close to the trauma, being the next generation after the mass migration. I think that's why I'm drawn to this subject matter more, because it's so close to me. It's interesting because when I started school in photography at U of H, I was just taking like minimalist, aesthetic, architectural photography. And it wasn't until I did a photo series with my grandma, just hanging out with her, is when I started to know the story, because I knew we were from Vietnam, but I didn't know like the full extent of that. And I think that really opened a can of worms, and I want to learn more, I want to know more, because I didn't know, and like it's not taught about in schools either. So I'm trying to reclaim this history, and I think I'm doing a good job of it, and documenting and archiving this history for future generations after me too. Yes.
What do you want to see the next generation of Vietnamese American look like? We have 3 generations here. What do you think that the next generation will be like? Or what would you want them to be like?
It's hard to say. So I feel like it's like my grandma's generation is like, we gotta do whatever to survive. My mom's generation is like, we're here, now we just have to like fit in and work and make a better life for our kids. So now I'm the generation where it's like, we're stable enough financially that I can be an artist, which is a privilege, to be able to work as an artist, and instead of doing a whole bunch of different other jobs. It's hard to place what the future of it will look like. I really hope that there's more representation of Vietnamese people in all aspects, in media, in the art world. I literally only know maybe like a handful of Vietnamese artists in Houston, or have more representation in the art world, showing in the art world, because I'm sure there's artists of Vietnamese descent in Houston, but it's so hard to break into this white cube world, and then like in movies and music, and I see a change coming, and it's working, but change is also going to take time. So I don't know. I see the future of Vietnamese descent and to be more outspoken, to say what they want, to not care, like not to be docile and submissive, to really speak their minds and do whatever they want if they want to do whatever. Yeah.
But still remember their past.
Yeah, and honor it. And I feel like that's what a lot of my generation does. I feel like even not only in Vietnamese artists or Vietnamese cultures, like a lot of my friends are immigrants from Mexico or from Central America, and we're all working within the same realms. And I feel like because we're that generation of, we want to honor our ancestors, and we also want to uplift them and move forward and really highlight these experiences.